Palmas Anthony Villegas tries to evade Seasides Braulio Avila 5 in the first half of their game at Rabobank Stadium in Salinas on Friday. Don't count out a long postseason for Palma. Vern Fisher Monterrey Herald Friday's game Soquel at Marina, 7 p.m. Seaside at MVC, 7:30 p.m. Harbor at Gonzales, 7:30 p.m. Christopher at Monterey, 7:30 p.m. Carmel at Pacific Grove, 7:30 p.m. Gilroy at North County, 7:30 p.m. San Benito at Palma, 7:30 p.m. Salinas at Aptos, 7:30 p.m. North Salinas at Alvarez, 7:30 p.m. Greenfield at King City, 7:30 p.m. Saturday's game Soledad at Stevenson, 2:30 p.m. Woodside Priory vs. Trinity at Monterey High, 5 p.m. MPC at Hartnell, 6 p.m. There were some, make that a lot, of years where alisal High's football team could not win 5 games in a single season. When the Trojans return to the field in 19 days for the Central Coast Section playoffs, they will be riding a school record 5-game winning streak. The postseason wasn't even a conversation piece 4 weeks into the season, when alisal started 0-2-13. Yet, it's been said more than once that the turning point in the Trojan season came in Week 2, when they failed to hold a 17-point lead, falling in the waning seconds, 2,417, to Soledad. As heartbreaking of a loss as that was for alisal, it wasn't devastating. Instead, it served as motivation to not have that feeling again. The Trojans turned a corner after the setback. Winning became contagious for a program that hadn't had a winning season in 5 years. We went through some adversity earlier in the year and overcame it, alisal coach Cesar Chida said. It shows a lot of grit and heart. It tells you the character of this team. Alisal's only setback after an 0-2 start was 280 Gilroy. Its double overtime win over Christopher signaled the culture of the program had changed. All 3 of Alisal's setbacks are to teams headed to the postseason. It's possible it could see either Soledad or Gilroy again at the Division 4 playoffs. Redemption for now is on hold. Yes, making the playoffs warrants a celebration. It's happened just 5 times in 52 years at alisal. And while quarterback Andrew Marquez has put together an MVP-type season for alisal, it's truly been a team effort, a group of unselfish players understanding their roles and relishing them. Carmel, a team no one wants to play. Clearly Carmel's is a program that could make some noise in the CCS Division 5 playoffs. But was Carmel's surge in the last month too late? Assuming the Padres get past 17 Pacific Grove on Friday in the annual shoe game, they will finish the season with 4 straight wins and a 64 record. However, Carmel will likely only have 19 points. Last year 19.5 points was the playoff cutoff. Those 19 points might not be enough. There are only 8 at-large spots open for both the DIV and DV brackets. The Padres' 4 losses this year are to legitimate teams. Gilroy is 80, Soledad and Scotts Valley are going to share the Mission Trail Athletic League Mission Division title, and Christopher is headed for an 82 season. Still, failing to hold a 210 halftime lead to Gilroy and letting a 14-point second-half lead evaporate in Soledad could come back to haunt Carmel. We've had to go through some adversity, Coach Golden Anderson said. Winning just does not happen. Losing those games made these kids understand what it takes to get better. The Padres' second-half resurgence stems from getting 2 starters back plus sophomore Dakota Mornhinweg, who missed the first 6 games because of the CCS transfer rule. Mornhinweg has scored 8 touchdowns in 3 games this fall for Carmel, which has outscored opponents 14,232 since his return. Mornhinweg's return has enabled Anderson to put players back in their normal positions. You're also seeing a more fluid offense behind quarterback Kylie, one with confidence. That in turn has ignited a young and maturing defense, as evidenced by junior Zach Desi picking off 3 passes last week against King City. Marina chasing school history. Everything came falling down on Marina midway through this season. Mired in a 5-game losing streak. Scoreless in 3 straight games. No junior varsity program. Practices of fewer than 20 players thanks to injuries. This wasn't supposed to happen. Coach Vernon Calhoun believed he had enough talent to make a run in the Monterey Bay League Pacific Division. It wasn't like we weren't competitive, Calhoun said. We just weren't there mentally for a couple of games in league. That was bothersome. In the mind of Calhoun, the players had seen enough. Losing wasn't acceptable. This group wanted to be difference makers and build a foundation for the future. They are finally finding their footing. Since going 13-plus quarters without scoring, the Mariners have been on a mission. They have produced 147 points in 3 straight wins and tied the single-season school record for wins with 4. All of a sudden, what seemed like a lost season has a chance to end in record fashion. A coach that refused to quit on his players is being rewarded. This will go a long ways in building this program, said Calhoun, whose numbers were so small this year that he had to shut down his JV program. We've created interest on campus. During the Mariners' 3-game winning streak, they've set a single-game school record for points and have produced 2 of the top 3 scoring games in the program's 8-year existence. With 203 points on the year, Marina needs 24 points in its season finale against SoCal to break the school record. SoCal gave up 50 points in a loss last Friday to Greenfield. Getting that JV program back on its feet next fall is critical to keep this momentum going, because some freshmen with potential aren't out there this year. Put the eulogies on hold at Palma. Making the playoffs does not signal that the Chieftains are back. Neither does 3 consecutive wins under must-win conditions. What does get my attention is how Palma won last Friday to clinch its 33rd straight CCS postseason appearance. It did it after trailing by as much as 10 points and 9 in the second half. That likely would not have happened 4 weeks ago. Granted, the 3 opponents Palma has beaten in the last 3 weeks might not make the postseason. Of course, for 2 of those teams, that wouldn't be the case had they beaten the Chieftains. I told you to hold off on those eulogies when Palma was 13. Granted, failing to hold a 130 halftime lead in a 3,513 loss at home to Aptos left a lot of us wondering. Palma, which hadn't lost 4 games in the regular season in 33 years, was 24, and all runs eventually end. Perhaps, but not this year. Oh, growing pains are still evident. 3 turnovers in the first 8 minutes last Friday against Seaside were crippling. But they weren't devastating this time. It's not like Palma's 4 losses have been shockers. Menlotherton went to the state finals last year. St. Francis is 52-31 in the West Catholic Athletic League. Salinas is 72 and Aptos is 62. Both are undefeated in the MBL's Gablin division. 3 of those teams will be in the CCS Open Division I playoffs. It's not out of the realm that the Chieftains could make another extended run in the Open Division III playoffs. Anthony Villegas has evolved into a dangerous running back with more than 1,000 rushing yards behind a much-improved Palma offensive line. He broke the school's single-game record last Friday with 327 yards. The defense has allowed just 2 touchdowns in the first half in its last 5 games. Another shot at Aptos in the postseason would be enticing. John Devine can be reached at 8,317,264,337.